Tennis Addison and his management over the 55 billion cedis loss posted as a result of the impact of the domestic debt exchange program and the ongoing construction of a new head office of the central bank. Stay with us. We have some reactions from industry and indeed a financial analyst on this position captured in a statement by the finance minister. Dom Kwabinya, member of parliament Sarah Joasafo, asked for forgiveness from NPP rank and file for her misconduct in recent times.
The party for the New Patriotic Party, any party paying for the kind Mampenina Abdam Pekufuad.
Stay with us. We get some reactions as well to this latest from Sarah Joasafo. A drama at the Electoral Commission offices as the EC evades service from the bailiffs with contempt application over the decision to proceed with the limited voter registration exercise despite the injunction applications. We have details of this plus the latest in sports and entertainment and business over the last 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. Let's get into the details now. And the member of parliament for the Dom Kwabinya constituency, Sarah Joasafo, has rendered an unqualified apology to the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party for her misconduct in recent times. The Privileges Committee of Parliament in July 2022, by majority decision, recommended that the Dom Kwabinya MP set to be declared vacant for that particular seat because of her absenteeism from parliament duties over a year. Now, this particular decision sparked a lot of controversy and conversation, especially because the NPP majority indeed pushed for her seat to be declared vacant, but the NDC in parliament opposed that idea. In fact, the Speaker of Parliament referred the issue to the committee after intense pressure from fellow majority MPs who wanted her thrown out of the Legislative House of Parliament. The Speaker is yet to rule on this committee's report concerning Joasafo, but the MP, who has since returned to Ghana, has declared her intention to contest the party's primaries for the 2024 general elections to be elected as his parliamentary candidate for the Dom Kwabinya constituency. In a video, the lawmaker asked the party members and leadership, particularly President Kufuor, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, the Chief of Staff, for forgiveness, saying her conduct was unintentional.
Me pesame fa kwenye iso ede echo pakesie ede ma me party for the New Patriotic Party, any party paying for the kind Mampenina Abdam Pekufuad, na bedi the Vice President, me the Chief of Staff, Honorable Frema Osei Opare, Majority Leader, and the entire leadership of Parliament. Minianom Emrashebejafo, Majority Caucus. Me percent me fa kwenye isu epamunina chow. Maybe a tremu, and ye be a free me ho ebaye. Some sira must say, and yanny dahum, and then my dream on another cine p. Sabi the morning betray form. And near my brain, Nana air costo, and want my brabum, and in my busium. If upon ye shooting and coupon din ceremony, the regional executive, Greater Accra, the constituency executives, our chairman goes to Edda Anon, the headquarters of New Patriotic Party, the general secretary, any national chairman, any Wapanfunina. The Pamunina show supporters, sympathizers, Amunina Modo Party, no, Anamodome, a Wabishi Mukesie, a way in Pessia Limono. The Pamunina show, yes, CBA, more family bonny and chemi. Seven penny for bu baby says so ba eja ne nan bu ona so a yin twantwene na sebe ye pepa ni ababi a nyankopon din srem nyina ni din de adwoa safo na che bedwani a ni tina ho edema omanfo a ewo domeko adenya nyankopon srem nyina.
Well, so that's Sarah Joseph there. It was a video that was specially recorded for this purpose of forgiveness. Essentially, she's saying that she wanted to take the opportunity to apologize to the NPP members, the leadership, firstly to President Akufo-Addo, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, talked about their mother, that's the Chief of Staff, Akosia Frema Osei-Opare. And you recall that in her absence, Kenneth Japan did indicate in one of his media appearances or interviews that the Chief of Staff had tried even calling her and indeed giving her some money for her to come down and vote during this e-levy conversation and the debate in Parliament. Well, there was no clear indication of exactly how much, but at least from Kenneth Japan's own pronouncement, the Chief of Staff sent some money to Sarah Joseph to have her come down to Ghana to vote. But well, she's now apologizing to the Chief of Staff, the Majority Leader, Sechi Mensah-Bonsu, and the entire leadership of Parliament, her colleague MPs, Majority Caucus, it goes on. It was a very tall list of the recipients of this apology. But how about the constituency leadership as well? Because they were also livid when Sarah Joseph was nowhere to be found, and even the phone numbers that they knew couldn't go through when they were trying to get through to her. Now, Theophilus Ansalabi is the Dom Kwabenya constituency secretary. He's joining us on the telephone for the NPP. That's the NPP's Dom Kwabenya constituency secretary. Mr. Ansalabi, thank you so much for joining us here on Hunter Edition. So, your member of parliament is apologizing. Well, you weren't mentioned, the constituency executives weren't mentioned in the list of the apology recipients, but is that enough for you to forgive him now that she's done this video pleading with you that what she did wasn't intentional?
Basically, thank you for having me. But the question is, after accepting her apology, what next? What does she want us to do for her? Yes, apology well accepted. But what does she want us to do for her? What does she want from the Constituency Executive Committee and the constituents? We've given Adwoa the time that she deserves. Everybody deserves a second chance, though. But Adwoa has had 3 terms. And what we have been through is not new to all of you as media men. And we've had our fair share of the insults and the insinuations people casting on us as a constituency. For some time past, we've been in the news for the bad reasons. That's because of one person. And the Nukwabenya is not a new constituency. Ajosafo Honorable is the first MP of the constituency. And if her predecessors have done things the way she did, probably we might have lost the seat as a party. So yes, we have forgiven her. We can't do anything against Honorable Ajosafo. She's back. But what we are saying is that 3 terms of a member of parliament for Dominic Kwabenya, all she needs to do, she's done it, including the opportunity for people to cast insult on us. Yeah, she's done everything that we know that she can do. There's nothing new I think she's bringing on board. So yes, we can't hold a grudge for long. We are forgiving her. But for the seat, we need to protect it.
If you say you need to protect the seat, what do you mean? So if after you accepted her apology and she comes to say, well, she wants to contest as the party's candidate in 2024.
It is in her own right to contest. She has every right to contest because she's still a member of the party and an MP of the party. Her term of office will expire soon. But as the leadership of the party, of which I am part, and a delegation, I am part of the delegates who will be voting to select a PC. And what we are supposed to do as delegates is to listen to the masses that vote in a general election so that we give a representation of a personality that they would love, they would like, and vote massively for him or her. So, if all this thing has gone out about Honorable Ajosafo and people are not happy on the ground, and they are saying this time round, if you bring Honorable Ajosafo, we're not going to help you campaign, we're not going to help you vote, then it's going to be a trouble. Then you're not listening to the grassroots. If you bring her as the candidate again, that is the problem. Because the last election, all these things Ajo has been doing started before the election. She didn't help in the campaign, did not do anything after the election, and she just went away after the election. She's just coming back to apologize. Yes, apology, well taken. But I don't think if we give the seat back to Ajosafo, the vote of the NDC will increase again, which wouldn't like going into 2024, because the last election, NDC has never gotten 50,000 votes in Dominica before, but it was the first time they got it because of certain attitude our MP put before the constituency election.
I see. Well, she hasn't hidden her intention to contest for the 2024 elections on the ticket of the NPP as MP for the Dom Konyo constituency. She stated it in a number of interviews that she intends to contest. So you're saying that as leadership of the constituency executives of the NPP for Dom Kwabenya, you are not going to support her bid?
What I'm saying is that in one of her interviews, she said it is the people of the Kwabenya who are inviting her or calling her to come contest again.
Indeed.
So if the people have called you, what is this apology all about? They have called you. They have forgiven you before they called you. So what is this about again? If you've gone out there to say this is the story, so why worry then? I don't think there's a point in getting yourself worried. But what I'm saying is that I am a delegate, not just a delegate. I am a leader of the party. And as a delegate, you represent a group of people. So you have to go to the people, ask them what they want, and you do what the people want, not what you want. So as a leader of the party, I'll go to the ground, I ask people what type of person or what kind of person they want us to bring this time round, so they all rally behind us so we can keep our seat. And what they are telling us is for what Honorable Ajo has done within her 3 terms as an MP, I think there should be a cut-off point. And that is what I think. So if I mean well for the party, then there's no point I will support her bid, because campaigning will be very difficult. Even if we will win, it will be very difficult than to bring a new candidate.
So this position that you are espousing now, you say that it is your constituents who have told you upon consultation that they don't want Ajosafo again as MP?
Exactly so. Exactly so. Because I work on the ground and I know what I've heard from the people. People knowing very well that I'm a leader in the constituency. I know what they tell me. I don't know whether she hears the same and she still wants to contest, but it's her all right to contest. No one will deprive her of that. She'll be given the nomination form to file for nomination. She can go ahead and campaign for the primaries. And if it works out well for her, hallelujah. If the people say no because of what you have done, why not? We have the men.
How widespread is this position that you've just talked about now, that the constituents don't want her to contest? Is it?
I have been a constituency secretary for 3 terms, from 2013 to date. So I am in the position to tell you what I'm telling you, because I'm not an armchair executive. I go around, I go to the grassroots, I go to the people, I speak to the people, they tell us the concerns they have with the party in the constituency in terms of development, in terms of everything they want us to do for them as a party. So I know what I'm talking about. Majority of the constituents are not happy with Honorable Ajosafo. It's as simple as that.
So if she shows up tomorrow after this apology, Dom Kwabenya executives, help me to become your parliamentary candidate for 2024, what would you tell them? What would you tell her?
We have offered the help she needed in time past. I don't think she appreciated it. She didn't reward us well to the extent that our seat nearly got declared vacant in the time that the whole world was going into financial crisis, that Ghanaians probably may blame our party for that situation where the Ukraine and Russia war were having effect on our economy, and the COVID, after the COVID, the situation the country's economy went through. No incumbent political party will go through by election at that period that will do well. And that is the same period Honorable Ajosafo did not do well with us. So I think 3 terms is enough for her to show us what she can do. And we say, well done. She's done well, and there should be a cut-off point. It's as simple as ABC.
Well, she has a message for you, and I want you to listen to her and maybe give her a reply. Please take a listen.
No, just Mechia constituency for me as the member of parliament. Yami Aduma do and I'm about chamber. So.
And coming to the chamber, how was the reception? Were you able to interact with your colleagues?
Yeah, the reception has been good. Yeah.
And what are we expect from you now that you're back?
I'm now back and back as a member of parliament to continue my duties. And so today's the first day, and I'm hoping that the subsequent weeks are going to be good.
She's back and she's staying for good. That's her message.
No problem. She's welcome. No one is going to drive her back. That's what we have expected of her. We voted for her to represent us as a member of parliament, and she refused to do her duty. She's back. We are happy. But all I want to say in terms of response is politics is a serious business. It has always been serious business. So whosoever endeavors politics should be very serious.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Theophilus Ansalabi, I thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you.
All right. Theophilus Ansalabi is the NPP Dom Kwabenya constituency secretary. It appears that Joseph's apology has done very little to convince these executives of the party in the constituency to change their minds. Jonathan Asante-Okyere is senior political science lecturer. In fact, a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, beg your pardon, the political analyst joining us on the telephone. Mr. Asante-Okyere, thank you so much for your time here on Hot Edition. So this is one of the executives who, from the understanding we get based on his responses to my questions, he represents the views of other executives of the party in the constituency. And indeed, they say they've done consultation on the ground. And the people are saying they don't want Ajosafo again. I mean, how much of a difference in your own political analysis will this apology make for her after today?
Thank you, Alfred. Let me say good evening to our listeners. I don't want to think that it is a little too late for her. But of course, as a Christian-dominated nation, so to speak, it is often said that when you wrong someone, you don't have to ask for forgiveness from God. You have to first of all ask for forgiveness from that person and from God as well. So if that is what she feels that she ought to do, she's done that. I'm very sure that she had to do some consultation before rendering such an unqualified apology, so to speak. And then based upon that, well, we are later on to find out if it will sit well with the delegates and the electorate in general. I don't want to think that the constituency general secretary or secretary, so to speak, has been on her side previously. I would want to assume that he may be among those who have been opposed to Ajosafo. I don't have the fact on that particular distance. But if I did, then I would have said that That is his view, and that may not necessarily be the view of all, because the skill of justice that he is using and weighing against her by saying that she's gone for 3 terms and for him that's enough. He's forgotten that in so many parts of this country, there are other, MPs that have gone for a 4th term and 5th term and so on and so forth. What about Mr. Kennedy Japan? What about the majority leader? And so for the list is endless. And so I can see some kind of pettiness in his argument. But that aside, this does not suggest that whatever she did and the behavior that she put up was something that was politically wise. But she says that she was bedeviled with issues that were overwhelming, and for which reason she was not in a position to deal with those issues. So now that she feels that all those issues have been dealt with, she's fully back. The other aspect of her message, which I found a bit selfish, and that is, of course, she's now appealing to the majority caucus, appealing to the party executives, and appealing to all and sundry. She's forgotten so soon that it took the minority in parliament to stand in for her, as it were. And when she was mentioning the list of those that she was apologizing to and giving gratitude, she forgot to mention that particular. And I think that I don't want to think that, well, she's forgotten that they stood in for her. Yes, they may not be from her party. Everybody is serving a particular political agenda, so to speak. But of course, I will pray that she does that behind the scenes. If it is not politically wise to do that publicly, she should be able to do that behind the scenes. Other than that, it is about a matter of competition. And I see that the role that Professor Michael Quay is playing in the delegate, elections, the supervision, and being the chair, one way or the other, he himself is also creating some room for his son, who has been a perennial, contestant of a competitor of that particular seat, as far as Adjosafo is concerned. And I think that if she's not careful, she's likely to lose that particular seat to Michael Quay Jr., and that is a possibility.
In fact, start off with your analysis of the Council Secretary's responses to the questions that I asked him. Beyond his position, he says they've done widespread consultation, and the rank and file of the party in the constituency say that they don't want her again as their parliamentary candidate for the 2024 general elections. That's actually beyond what he was even saying. So it's not a sentiment that's limited to him as a person.
Well, I think that is more like a political statement, so to speak, if you ask me. The consultation that they have done, well, maybe that could have also informed the decision of Adjosafo to apologize. But Adjosafo herself might have also conducted some kind of survey around the whole thing, and probably she might have been advised by the powers that be to take up that particular part of what she has done. But as I said earlier on, if you ask me, I think that the constituency secretary has been one of those who have been opposed to the woman. And that agenda, he's still continuing that particular agenda. Other than that, if we want evidence of that consultation, then they should gather some, signatures for us to know that indeed this is what the consultation yielded. But other than that, I think it is more of a lip service and it's propaganda. And my analysis would have been fully informed if I knew his position long before Adjosafo's, debacle. Other than that, it is more or less like speculation here and speculating there.
Okay. If you doubt that there's widespread consultation or this position of his is shared by many others in the constituency, please stay with me, Dr. George. We've been to the constituency this afternoon, My colleague Joseph Armstrong returned just about 5 minutes ago from the Dom Kwabena constituency. This is what the residents are saying. Take a listen.
Okay.
Me, I don't accept his apologize for this constituency. Because actually, all my problem is this market. Masa, if you go inside right now, you will not be feeling happy. I'm telling you. I've been in this market for 20 years now. We haven't seen any improvement in this market. That's my problem. So as for me, dear, first, I do my everything for people, but now I change my mind.
I'm sorry.
No. In Ghana politics, you don't understand something about our politicians. But if we understand something about our politicians, but we see say what they call it, the party is not belong to the family people. Say that I have for him should step. What they call it, he should step outside and a new person should come in. Okay.
Yeah, there's an election coming, and she wants to beg so that she can get a chance to do whatever she wanted to do. Yeah, because she's genuine. She's not genuine. For the view of people, she's not genuine.
The things that she said, though, but I think because it's getting closer to the election year, so I think it's one of those things of politicians. So,
Zaza Churchy, this is just 3 out of many. In fact, we interacted with close to 25 of the constituents who share the same opinion that she should go. That's consistent with what the executives are saying, is it not?
Okay. So I heard one of the constituents say that he is no longer with the MPP. And he doesn't want to, entertain the MPP. But of course, by and large, that is the generality of the survey that you conducted and then the results. That's why in the beginning I said that I hope it is not a little too late for her. Other than that, when you wrong your colleague human being, what you have to do is to apologize. And I pray that it's not a little too late for her. Other than that, I mean, it will now go down to the competition on the day of the primaries. So I think that the kind of behavior she put up is uncalled for. And if she's not able to maintain her seat during the primaries, I think that she herself will have shot herself in the foot. But as a woman, let's see if they will still have, some kind of sympathy towards her.
See how things play out in the coming days. Mr. George, thank you so much for time. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Jonathan Asantioche is a political analyst with the University of Cape Coast, sharing his thoughts with us. And my colleague Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe came back from the Dom Kwabena constituency. You interacted with a number of them, the constituents now. Is this an overriding view that Adjusafo, beyond this apology, she should just go?
So we went straight to the Domain market where we know most of the traders there are party faithfuls. I mean, they belong to the NPP party, and not even a single one of them spoke in favor of Adjusafo. For them, Adwa has really let them down. They sacrificed a lot for her, and some of them told me they supported her because of her father. But at this point, it looks like Adwa has disappointed all of them, including her own father. So this time around, they cannot stand with her. She should go for a new person to come in so that MPP can maintain the seat within the Dom Kwabena constituency.
Joseph, thank you. Appreciate it. Joseph Armstrong Godalogbe, a colleague coming from the Dom Kwabena constituency minutes ago. Let's shift our attention away from the constituency a bit, because the lawyers for private citizen Precious Ayita have accused the Electoral Commission of evading the services of a contempt application despite multiple attempts to serve the writ. The Commission has initiated limited voter registration exercises despite several injunction applications aimed at halting the process. Earlier today, bailiffs and lawyers for Precious Ayita took over 2 hours to gain access to the Electoral Commission's premises. The court bailiffs were obstructed by security personnel who denied they had been instructed to allow them entry. Electoral Commission's decision to hold the exercise at its district offices and not electoral areas has been a major concern for the applicant, along with earlier suits by the 5 political parties who did not stop the Electoral Commission from implementing its plan. Nick Bapo Samuado is lawyer for Precious Ayita.
The reason why she's evading the contempt service is that she knows the contempt service will have no excuse when he comes before the court as to why he's continuing. Once you accept with the contempt process, the next step is that the court will jail you if you continue with the very thing that we are seeking to stop you from doing. And that is why she's evading the step. And we can assure her that we are not deterred. We will go back to the court, we will get hopefully the court order for substituted service, and we will come back. So whatever she does, she can run, but she cannot hide.
Well, so that's Nick Bapo Samuado there, raising serious issues with the Electoral Commission's position on this matter. Beyond this particular concern, he has also indicated that going forward, what they intend to do is to ensure that plans to continue their push until Jane Mensah and her deputies are held accountable and seek custodial prison sentences as a remedy will continue.
After we serve the issue with the contempt application, let us see what their reaction will be. If they continue with what they are doing, our clients will weigh the options they have to respect of whether maybe good Samaritans can assist or whatever it is, maybe get her to the center. We will look at all those options. But she will not lose out on her right, but she will still hold the matter accountable for her actions. Either way, we will still ensure that the law is respected.
That's Nick Bapo Samuado, a lawyer for Precious Ayita, one of 2 private citizens taking on the Electoral Commission. But Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says attacks on the leadership of the central bank over 60.8 billion cedis loss that it incurred in 2022 is needless. That's according to the Finance Minister. It follows what has been a barrage of criticisms of Dr. Ernest Addison and the management of the Bank of Ghana over that loss posted for the 2022 fiscal year. The NDC minority has demanded the resignation of the central bank governor over the losses while expressing anger, as well as the ongoing construction of a new head office amidst the country's current economic challenges. But in an open letter to Ghanaians, Ken Ofori-Atta described ongoing criticisms of the central bank governor as the height of irony or a sad reflection of the state of public discourse. In fact, he wants citizens to foster together in unity. But the Honorable Mama Yarga is joining us on telephone as a Bonko Central Member of Parliament. He, together with the minority leadership, has been on the forefront of ensuring that there is that demand for accountability on this matter. I thank you so much for your time here on Hot Edition, Honorable Mama Yarga. So this is what Ken Ofori-Atta is saying, that criticism of the central bank's governance, that's performance, is needless and the height of irony. Is this
well? I mean, today the finance minister has issued a statement begging people to come back and further make concessions and sacrifices for the domestic debt exchange program. He should save his skills to take us out of this mess. It is obvious that the Bank of Ghana has become insolvent. That is common knowledge. We didn't even say it. It is their own external auditors who are telling us that the bank has become insolvent. It is also not in doubt that the assets of the bank, are far less than their liabilities now. That's what negative equity means. And it is obvious also that in the light of all these, in the face of all these very negative developments, they are spending 222 million United States dollars. And I am really shocked to hear the finance minister, extolling the virtue of such a governor. But I can understand, because the governor has abandoned his primary responsibility, which is to ensure that the finance minister is disciplined And he has jumped into the fray and is helping the finance minister by printing money for him to spend recklessly. So definitely the finance minister will be all over the place praising him for his collaborative endeavors. But he's asking us to support, restore the solvency of the central bank. As patriotic citizens, we're all ready to help apply ourselves to restore the solvency of the central bank. But it has to be under a new leadership. It cannot be under the same leadership that has derailed the entire process and destroyed the solvency of the institution. So we don't have any objection to participate in helping to restore the solvency of the central bank, but it must be under a new leadership. And that is all we are saying, that Ghanaians cannot be called upon again to make sacrifices to restore the solvency of the bank without having a new leadership at the bank. That's why we want the governor and his deputies and the board to all go, so that we can have a clean slate, bring in a new leadership, a new board, and then when they ask us to make sacrifices, we can at least hope that they will not behave like their predecessors. But we can't encourage a situation where people will sit there and be as reckless as we have seen, and then turn around and call on us to make sacrifices to restore the solvency of the bank.
In this statement that the finance minister makes, he goes to reference some positions that has been hugely contested. But this is what he says, that as some critics of the central bank in our country do observe, I quote, the primary objective of a central bank is not to make profit, but to be managed as a financially sustainable institution. Does this defense of the central bank's situation suffice in any way? That yes, they are not there to make profit, but are they there to make losses as well?
Whatever it is, they are there as lenders of last resort to the banking sector. Today, if any of our banks face financial crisis, the central bank will not be able to help it. So in their very basic functions, they have failed. So the finance minister cannot even be, suggesting that anything good has happened to us, because their very basic function, which is to be a lender of last resort, they cannot perform it. If anything happens to any of in our banking sector, they will not be able to bail them out. The worst part of it is that the bank is supposed to be the government bank. If government is in a crisis, it should be able to fall on the bank to raise revenue to deal with the crisis. As we speak, this governor has so destroyed the central bank that, touch wood, if we are faced with a major catastrophe, this banker cannot be of any assistance to the government because they have rendered themselves insolvent. They are in a huge debt. They themselves are struggling to pay their debt. Not talk about to pay the debt of government. So that is the situation of the bank. There's nothing good about it that he can be extolling. Absolutely nothing good about it. That they have maintained policy solvency is not a function of their ingenuity. Their policy solvency maintenance is because the law says that they are the ones to make policy. It's as simple as that. And because we are law-abiding, we will still go ahead and comply with policy made by an incompetent governor. That is the only difference. They are not policy solvent because they have proven themselves to be, excellent deliverers of their commitments. So I think that there's nothing that the finance minister can say about the governor today that will save the governor. Indeed, I believe that it's not just the governor who must go. The finance minister, by this statement that he has made, has admitted that he is the architect of what the governor has done, which has destroyed the central bank and destroyed the financial sector. And so, indeed, we must be demanding that the very accountability that we are asking of the governor must be extended to the finance minister. He must equally leave office. We've tried hard to take him out. He managed to survive. And I believe that is why he can sit and utter the kind of things that he's uttering today, admitting glaringly that the central bank is now in cahoots with the government and will print money for the government if government desires more money, because reportedly that is the new direction of central banks. So I believe that it is time for us to demand that not just the governor, but the finance minister himself should equally leave, because it is obvious that no matter what we do, with this kind of thinking informing the attitude and disposition of finance minister, there will not be any fiscal responsibility. He will not cut down on expenditure. He will assume that a central bank is there to print more money for them, and so he will continue to engage in reckless expenditure, such as constructing a national cathedral, and then he will see nothing wrong with reckless expenditure, such as using $222 million United States dollars to build an office that the Public Procurement Authority recommended that we should only use 81 million United States dollars. So clearly, the finance minister should also go, same way that we're asking for the central bank governor and his deputies to leave.
I see. So the protest march comes off as planned on October 30. So now you are adding the finance minister to the governor and the two deputies. They must all go.
We will continue to mount pressure on all of them, the central bank governor, his deputies, and since the finance minister has shown that he is of the same thinking, then I can assure you that we will rope in the finance minister in our demands.
I thank you. Honorable Mamayaga, October 3 is the day for the protest, is it not?
Yes, we will march on October 3rd and we will demand for the resignation of the central bank governor, the two deputies, and we will demand that even the finance minister should also leave. Because the problem obviously will not be solved by just getting the central bank governor out. Because whoever is put there as the central bank governor, this finance minister will use his influence within the corridors of power to get him to behave the same way as this governor who has messed up our financial sector.
Mama Yaga, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mama Yaga is Member of Parliament for the Boko Central constituency, and he, together with the minority leadership, have been very vociferous, demanding the accountability from the governor of the central bank and two deputies. Now they are adding the finance minister to it, that he should also step aside. But the majority MPs, MPP MPs who demanded that the finance minister step aside did not succeed in that particular venture. So we'll see how things play out in the coming days. But about 13 fishermen are reportedly missing in the Sea of Ada. This morning, the Ada East District National Disaster Management Organization NADMO coordinator Ebenezer Kise Nate, who confirmed the incident, indicated that two fishing boats carrying a total of 23 fishermen got capsized in the estuary while trying to enter into the Volta River. He revealed that all 10 fishermen in one of the boats were rescued alive, but the 13 other fishermen in the second boat are still missing. He stated that his outfit is collaborating with the Ghana Navy, who have also embarked on a search and rescue mission and is currently ongoing. So we'll be updating our listeners and our viewers on Facebook about this rather unfortunate incident. Some 13 fishermen are reportedly missing in the Sea of Ada this morning. Let's get into business now. Michael Obodo is here with the latest. Michael.
Hi there. Good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition. My name is Michael Obodu. Straight into our first story, as the ECOWAS Commission has reiterated the single currency for member countries, the ECO, will be launched in 2027. President of the Commission says despite shortfalls of member countries in meeting the convergence criteria, the Commission remains committed to launch the ECO in 2027. While some member states have questioned the feasibility of the 2027 deadline, others remain optimistic member states will meet the convergence criteria. Presenting a paper on behalf of the ECOWAS chair, Mambure Nje, a representative of the president, said the commission remains committed to launch the ECO in 2027.
The progress made so far in the implementation of the roadmap for the ECOWAS single currency program would not have been possible without your active support and participation. As we move closer towards 2027 deadline for the establishment of the ECOWAS Monetary Union, we rely on you for your enhanced support and cooperation towards the effective and timely implementation of the activities outlined in the roadmap for the launch of the ECO.
You heard the representative of ECOWAS Chair Mambure Inje speaking there. Away from that, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has expressed optimism in the single currency and added 2024 will be a critical year for member countries ahead of the launch of the ECO due to the challenges in the convergence by member countries.
These financial challenges, as you may know, have the potential to affect their operations and consequently, instigate a potential.
It's clear from just a glimpse at that report that no country within the zone is likely to meet any of the 4 primary convergence criteria this year. This makes next year a critical year in the lead up to the launch of the ECO under the roadmap in line with the new macroeconomic convergence and stability pact.
You heard the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, speaking there. Away from that, management of Tema Oil Refinery have been urged to go into third-party storage services to raise funds to meet its debt obligations. This, according to policy analyst at Eureka Energy Solutions, Rafik Jaula, means TOR has to leverage its storage tanks. Currently, 20 out of the 60 storage tanks of the refinery are in bad shape and idling. Eureka Energy Solutions is encouraging the management of Tema Oil Refinery to take steps to address the financial challenges facing the refinery.
These financial challenges, as you may know, have the potential to affect their operations and consequently, instigate a potential shutdown of the company. We do know that the Tema Oil Refinery owes some debt obligations to ECG, which debt obligations amount to a tune of about 11 million Ghana cedis. The refinery has faced some shutdowns in the past, all because of these debt obligations, coupled with, their responsibility to cater for staff remunerations and also pay some overhead costs associated with production. We cannot allow those tanks to lie idle, because lying idle means that TOR is going to be losing some amount of revenue from these 60 tanks. The checks that we have done.
You heard the Rafik Jaula, who is a policy analyst at Eureka Energy Solutions. Now, an energy strategist has retweeted calls for a clear-cut strategy to cushion fuel consumers amid rising prices at the pumps. The Institute for Energy Security, IES, has projected the price could go up by about 4% in the next few days. Speaking to 3 Business, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, who is the chief executive of Eureka Energy Solutions, stressed the need to protect consumers from the impact of constant rise in fuel prices on the global market.
Are we going to be living by this international dynamics where we always move by the wind? No, I think we have to have a clear strategy as a nation, whereby when these dynamics hits, we should be shielded. And we have called time with that number that whilst the upstream will benefit, we're going to be hit hard by the downstream side, as in crude oil, as in what the consumer pays at the pump, because these commodities are driven from crude oil. And as long as crude oil prices take the upward trajectory, we can't do anything much about that. We have to have a clear strategy where whatever benefit that we might be getting from the upstream, we should be able to cascade it to the downstream. And that can be done. We can have a workable formula where this can easily be done. Other than that, I think we're going to continuously or perpetually live by the mercy of international dynamics.
You hear that Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, who's the chief executive of Eureka Energy Solutions and an energy strategist. And that will be all for the business segment on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com/business. And my colleague Billy is seated to bring us the latest in the world of sport.
I'm good, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What's up in the world of sports today?
Well, of course, the FIFA have announced the nominees for the best awards, and of course, there's a Nigerian in there, Victor Osimhen, and so that's a very good thing for Nigeria. But there's no Ghanaian in there, if you are wondering. The way you're looking at me, you're smiling.
But Osimhen,
yeah,
that guy,
yeah, top guy,
interesting,
scoring goals for Napoli. You know,
I see. Over to you, bro.
Well, thank you. It's time for sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Shen. Now, FIFA have pronounced the nominees for the FIFA The Best Awards for the just ended 2022-23 season. The qualification period for the awards ran from 19 December 2022 to 20th of August 2023. Now, for the Men's Player of the Year list, it included Julian Alvarez, Marcelo Brozovic, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, Erling Haaland, Rodri, Kvaratskhelia, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Victor Osimhen, Declan Rice, and Bernardo Silva. Those are the 12 players that were nominated for the award. Now, to some other stories, Manchester United winger Jadon Sancho will train away from the first team until issues with manager Erik ten Hag are resolved. Now, ten Hag left Sancho out of his squad for the loss at Arsenal earlier this month, saying the winger's training performances have been below standard. Now, Manchester United said in a statement that Jadon Sancho will remain on a personal training program away for the first team group. Now, to some stories on the Black Stars, of course, their fixtures for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers have just been released, and their campaign will be starting on the 13th of November 2023 and will end on the 14th of October 2025. Of course, they are in the same group as Madagascar, Comoros, Mali, Central African Republic, and Chad. Now, to some other stories there in Africa, Dreams FC will be taking on Sierra Leone side Calon FC in the second round of qualification for the CAF Confederation Cup. Now, earlier today, assistant coach Wilfred Dorman was asked about the availability of his players, and this was his response.
No, I have to keep it to myself. This is an in-house situation. Yeah, don't forget that this is a press conference. And of course, anything I say here can have a damaging effect or a positive effect. So we would like to keep it, we would like to share it.
Well, according to Wilfred Dorman, he has to keep that kind of information on the availability of his players. Now, tomorrow, the Ghana Premier League returns. The 2023-24 season will start with Hearts of Oak facing Real Tamale United at 6 p.m. in Tamale. Now, GPL statistician Felix Remarque believes that the Phobians can get the results against the RTU despite struggling over there in the last two seasons.
This time around, I think that they've had very good preparations when it comes to the preseason games and how well they've played. It's a huge game. They kick off the season on Friday, and I'm sure they will want to start with a very huge win. But we shouldn't forget the fact that they are going to a venue where they have not been able to win in the last two, seasons. So it's a huge text for them. But I feel they are facing an RTU team which is a bit weakened. So as a folks should really, up their game and get a very good season this.
Yeah, that was Felix Remarque, a GPL statistician who was speaking on Hearts of Oak's chances against RTU. Now, before I do go, the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana have reached out to the ailing Legon City's goalkeeper, William Esu. Esu expressed financial concern to Ghana under-23 coach Ibrahim Tanko about the need for playing bonuses to be released to cater for his medical needs, and the PFAG set it upon themselves to provide support for the goalkeeper. So, of course, shout outs to them. They've done really, really well for what they've done. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Leshen. Up next is entertainment with Akofa.
Thank you very much, Bill, for bringing us up to speed on all that's happening in the world of sports. It's now time for the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition. Let's begin by telling you about the remarkable edifice, which is the Deo Gratias Studio. Established in 1922, the Deo Gratias Photo Studio has survived decades of Ghana's history. With over 50,000 images that has been preserved, 3 Entertainment brings you the story behind this hidden gem in the heart of Accra.
How did this studio come into being? And it's been here for over 100 years. What is the backstory?
Well, my grandfather established it in the year 1922. And since then, it's never shut. So last year, we turned 100 years.
What are some of the memorable events, especially when it comes to your grandfather and your father managing this entire studio?
Well, some of the memorable events have been when Kwame Nkrumah was taken out of prison, which is not far from the studio. And then also experiencing our independence. That were great moments that both my grandfather and my dad experienced.
Do you think we've appreciated this edifice enough?
Well, I think so far as the Ghanaian economy is concerned, no. Ghana as a whole, I don't think so. The studio is mainly patronized by foreigners who are undergoing their studies abroad, especially those who are studying anthropology. They come by and look for information for their thesis. And if I can help them, yes, I do. And the others are just tourists who are taking a walk through Jamestown, and then they walk in and we take them around, tell them a bit about what Ghana was then, before independence and after 1922.
Well, away from that, CEO of Rafton Records, Ricky Nana Ajiman, popularly known as Bullet, has disclosed that preparations are underway to fly Wendy Shea to Germany for further treatment as far as her treatment is concerned. This comes in after Wendy Shea was reported to have been engaged in an accident with a truck on Saturday at midnight on the Kwabenya ACP highway. He spoke with Andy Dosty.
Has everything been checked, whether internal bleeding or any other injuries apart from the nose? Do you have any reports?
We've checked everything. They've not seen anything like that. So what we're trying to do is we want to fly her back to Germany. So
okay, for further medical checks.
Yeah, to check her more. So we try and fly her back to Germany.
But now, what about the driver that hit her? Has the police come in to investigate? If yes, what are they saying?
Yes, they have, and they are still investigating it. We're going to the police this morning. We're going to see the police this morning. So
to get the final report?
We've been there, and they say we have to wait for them to do testing of the car and all that. So, yeah, we're just hoping that they investigate and we know they're going forward.
Well, we wish Wendy Shea a speedy recovery. Let's now turn our attention now to tech giant Apple's quarters. Apple launched their new product a few days ago. Team Salute, a West African producer-artist duo behind the soundtrack for Apple's official trailer for the iPhone 15 series titled Wow, featuring Dookie Official. Now, Team Salute is a leading UK-based Afro-wave, Afro-electronic duo made up of Ghanaian producer Gabriel Kweku Wood and Sierra Leonean producer-songwriter Glenard Kojo Patnelli GKP. They're also behind global monster Afrobeat hits like Afrobeat Drogba Joanna in 2018, UG Official and Mr. Easy Dance for Me in 2016, amongst others. And before I go, a flyer making rounds on social media has indicated that CEO of Glitz Style Awards and Glitz Africa magazine Claudia Lumo may have intentions of contesting for the Oforiko Member of Parliament seat on the ticket of the NPP. Although she's yet to put out an official statement, this has sparked some reactions on social media. Earlier in April, during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, the 43-year-old expressed her interest in parliamentary bid during her visit to Oforikom, where she made known her desire to serve and give the community a facelift. Now that ends it for the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa, and I'll be back at 8 p.m. with Wind Down. Thank you for your time, Alfred.
Oh, interesting times ahead, is it not?
Interesting times ahead.
I'm going to wait to hear from Claudia Lumo.
Yeah,
herself.
Official statement, yeah.
Because I think we saw this with Edem.
Yes, and then he came out to tell us that it was a music thing. Yeah,
you know, like
well, not officially say April Fool, but like he was just giving us a music. Yeah.
So
and then later another artist also jumped on the same tangent. So
it didn't work.
Yeah, it really worked.
Anyway, thank you. There's more news on 3news.com. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a great evening.